Welcome back, everybody. Derek Sue, your East Oakland advocate. I want to talk about something pretty serious that may affect a lot of you. As you know, I'm already on Social Security, and right now, next month, June, just a couple of weeks away, I don't know if I'm going to see that payment in June because uh, there there's a battle over the um, raising the deficit. And so, and that's anybody who is on disability, on Social Security. None of our military personnel will get paid. If you are um, even a state employee, it's highly unlikely you're going to see pay. Uh, and so that brings up another thing that has affected me recently, and it's for sure right now because uh, back in my early days, many of you know that I was a union member for the International Aerospace and Automotive Machinist Union. And they had an office right up here in Oakland on MacArthur Boulevard. I had put in my 5 years for vesting when I was with Grand Auto, and I actually stayed in the employ of Grand Auto for 8 years. And so it wasn't a great deal of money, but it was still $5,000 in my union pension. And the union said, that's your money until, and we hold on to it till you're 55. And that was, I was a union member from 1978 and then all the way up till 1986. And let's see, is when I left the retail industry and then worked for my own. I actually went to EB Mud for a short time. I was a union member there, so I wasn't in long enough to be vested. I was there. I wasn't even there 4 years. I mean, it was a miserable experience, uh, and uh, it wasn't a good fit for me, and it was not a good fit for EB Mud to have me. So we parted ways, and I at that point became self-employed. I and stayed that way, and that was from 1988. So I've always looked out for my own finances, and then I always thought back, hey, I'll always have that little $5,000 nest egg. When I turn 55, I'll be able to draw it out and go do something with it. Who knows? Maybe a bag of groceries. I was thinking back then, and it was a really long time ago. I was only, I started with Grand Auto, back in 1978. I was only 18 years old, just out of high school, and I worked my way up to an assistant manager and stayed there. I was an assistant manager, made an assistant manager by the time I turned 19. And when I turned 19 and also officially uh, an assistant manager at Grand Auto, I bought myself a new car. So, but Grand Auto had a okay retirement plan, and uh, it was there. It was overseen by the union. It was collected by International Aerospace and Automotive Machinist Union. I think it was 1546 right here in Oakland. And so, anyway, when I turned 55, I was getting ready to turn 55, 54, almost 55, went up to the Union Hall, and it looked really bad. I mean, it was scary because there was fencing, there's no cars in the parking lot hardly, and it looked more like a prison setting than a union hall here in Oakland. And so I went in there, talked with the staffing and said, what's the procedure for drawing my money out? They asked me, a bunch of questions I asked, and then here's what the my union representative told me. He said, well, we are bankrupt, and the money that you had vested with us, you're not going to see it because number one, 5 years ago, so that 5 years prior to me turning 55, so I was actually 49, almost 50, when they changed the rules on when I could draw my money out. They changed it from 55 to 65, and that was court approved in the bankruptcy filing. And so at 65, it was already documented that the uh, the fund, the union fund that oversaw the retirement, would not exist. In fact, all monies would run out uh, the exact year that I was able to start drawing or draw my money out. So uh, by the time um, I turned 65, which is in 2025, that $5,000 little nest egg rotted. It literally disappeared. And that's one of the things that I want to talk to you folks who are planning your retirement around your union pension. And that goes for a lot of my friends who are SEIU, because and I know that those funds are underfunded by 1/3, and that's city, county, and state. That's everybody is behind in uh, their contribution to the union fund. And so, as your people, if you're in one of these big unions, doesn't matter if it's United States government or uh, state government or county government, you're in trouble. Police officers, CHP officers, deputy sheriffs, teachers, nobody's excluded on this. And you're going to find once you get to your retirement age, things are going to look very different than what you are being told right now, because what we were told way back when is a whole lot different than right now. And in fact, that union hall, while the doors are still open, there's only like 2 people, 3 people in there, and nothing. I mean, it is barren. I mean, I've seen mortuaries with more activity than this place. So uh, anyway, that's what could possibly happen. Don't count on your pension, your retirement pension being there. In fact, it's highly likely that the requirements that are in place right now at 465 may possibly be moved to 72 in very short order. So stay tuned. I'm watching out for this because this is scary, and this is why I applied and got my Social Security much earlier. I took early at 62 rather than waiting to 65. I have friends that are waiting to 65, but they have a whole different situation, and their home is paid for. So very different situation for my best friend here in Northern California. So anyway, thanks for joining me today. Hope I didn't spoil your day with that bad union news, but it's coming, and cities aren't able to fully fund those retirement funds that are overseen by your union, and that's a fact. Thanks for joining me today. We'll be right back.